am Joe.
And I'm Kokoy.
Together we are...
Titos with What the Heck is This?
It's plastic.
Well, Joe, we're coming up from the Japanese. We're so excited about that because like we mentioned, that Japan is the best place to buy ukulele because you can find all the types.
Yeah, but this has three things.
Okay, so what we have here is not a ukulele, but a hybrid ukulele. Okay, this is the Machidaya Sanlele. Okay, which is strange enough. This kind of instrument is their take on merging your traditional Japanese instrument into a ukulele form. That's how crazy they are with the
Sanlele
ukulele.
is a portmanteau of two different words.
Yes, the sanshin, which is the traditional Okinawa. If you've seen a Japanese geisha play, okay, that's the shamisen. Now the shamisen is their more or less the modernized, when they brought it back to the city. But the original that they used to have is called the sanshin. Okay, the sanshin, we have a sample here. Okay, this is the sanshin instrument. Okay, so compare this to the ukulele. You can immediately tell that the headstock is almost similar with those three tuning tongs or something. So the sanshin is the precursor to the shamisen. Okay, so the shamisen is smaller. It usually comes in with the snake skin. Now, of course, this is also modern, so this is a synthetic snake skin. Okay, but it is technically tuned in a more traditional Japanese tune, which is what they did. What they wanted to do is to shrink it in size to make it even more portable by putting it and creating the sanlele.
So, and what's this for?
Okay, now when you play the Japanese instrument, usually you have what is called the bachi, which is technically like a drumstick in English. But the sanshin, because the sanshin was the originator, which is, I assume, would have been transferred from the Chinese culture, which is the Okinawa, because it's so close to the Chinese coastline. They incorporated what they call this one, the tsume. Or, well, some people call it the bachi, but the tsume is in English, it's called basically a fingernail. So that's how you use it. So unlike what you see in those Japanese movies where you hit the drum with the bachi, okay? So these instruments are technically like drums, right? So that's why you hit it with a plectrum called the bachi. But since it's traditionally played, you play it with your fingernail. Yeah, I can see what you're trying to do there. So the sanlele, you don't use the bachi because you're not going to use the tsume because you're going to scratch it. So this plays like a ukulele, but it is tuned to basically play with a sanshin in a Japanese scale.
Okay. Can I try it out?
Yeah, why don't you try it out for a sound sample? Then we can explain what this monstrosity is. Well, Joe, that was an interesting sound sample. That's like, well, were you a geisha in a previous life?
No. Okay, so back in the 70s.
70s?
Yeah, I am old. My mom used to manage a restaurant at my grandfather's beach resort. Sometime during lunch, I, along with my siblings, we would take a break from what we're doing and grab our instruments and play songs for the customers. My older brother had a guitar, my younger brother had the accordion, my sister had the tambourine, and I was stuck with bandurria.
Which is so far away from this thing.
Yeah. So anyway, we had a lot of, even back in the 70s, we got a lot of Japanese tourists back then. And just to get more tips, we were told to learn a Japanese traditional song, which was Sakura.
Which is what you play.
Yeah, yeah. Now, if I got it wrong, I'm sorry, but I haven't played it since the 70s, okay?
No, that was actually fantastic. And to hear it played on a Sanlele, which is a hybrid.
Yeah, so folks,
it's amazing.
the last time I played for tips was the 70s.
Yes, and that's pretty good. And maybe if you wish to tip us, no, I'm kidding. If you wish to support us, just put up the thumbs up.
Yeah,
so
guys,
we can make more content like this.
Yeah, we need your likes, your your subs. Keeps us going. Anyway, let's go back to this. I have questions about this.
Well, yes. First of all, let me tell you that when I was watching you do the sound clips, I see how easy it was for you to play a Japanese scale using this kind of instrument. Because if you notice, the frets are not in the right places, right? I would describe this fretting just like what you would have in Eastern music, like dulcimer and stuff, where the frets are not linear in a way that you have an A, B, C, D, whatever. It's basically jumping with half notes, and this is called a diatonic scale.
Yeah, it is a little different playing it, because like if I play a note here and you look at what you're pressing, you're like, aren't I past the nut? Because normally you'd hit the nut somewhere around here, but the nut is actually here, and
Yes.
it's still a fret.
Well, it is very deceiving because it has such a weird aesthetic to it.
So okay, so these are friction.
Yes, just like the traditional Japanese instrument, the pegs are actually friction, but this has a nice screw. So it actually kind of holds in place so that it doesn't pop out like what happens when you use a typical Asian instrument where just like a violin you have to press in. This one is already screwed in, so tuning it is pretty nice.
Uh-huh.
You also have a plastic bridge over here.
So the bridge is really angled.
Okay.
Let's show it off.
A Japanese instrument. Okay, Japanese instrument is running through the world theory of sound. When you have one point to the other and you have a resonating body. So this is practically a banjo in the Western aspect. You have a skin. In this case, the body they have made this. The creators of this, they have designed it. Now this is the plastic version. There's a more expensive version which is running about $600 versus this one which is about $200, because this one you can only really get in Japan and technically Okinawa, right?
Yeah, so I noticed that to solve normally, like for our ukes, okay, we have bracing here, there.
Where's the bracing?
Yeah, there's just there's a piece of wood running through the body, and
Yes.
that's how they braced it.
Well, one thing to learn about the Japanese instrument is that it's really just the body, which is normally also just a frame of wood with a skin. Then you have one long neck running through it. It's a neck through, right? This is also made because it is more portable that way. An original shamisen cuts into 3 places where you can actually fold it and bring it and carry it in a box, in a backpack. So this one, if you notice that there is no bracing, it is actually, yes, playing like a banjo. It doesn't have also bracing. So that is also why you have kind of weird plectrums like this. So you need to also enhance the sound. I mean, this one is, I guess the plastic is designed to resonate better. But it's still kind of softer than a normal ukulele.
This bracing, the way it's made, it reminds me of those cigar box ukuleles you've shown me.
Yes, a cigar box is practically based on the banjo. It's a replacement of the banjo back in the time where, some of the gypsies in America would have to use whatever material they have. But yes, because it kind of plays that way, the sound can also be relative. And one thing to note is that, yes, you kind of have to assume where the bridge would be. Once you change strings, where would it be? Doesn't have any markers. But if you measure this is actually a 17-inch scale, which brings us to our tenor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe if I were gonna change the strings, I'd do a little mark with pencil for like 2 corners.
You can put probably stickers on them. You can also read the manual. in the other traditional Japanese booklets for the traditional instruments like the shamisen, they usually use fingers. Whether you normally three fingers, like here, if you notice, kind of three fingers. But it really depends on the size of your instrument. But yes, you could put markers. Okay. Now, if you notice, in some instruments, for example, if I may bring up a real big shamisen. Now, this is a modified shamisen, but just to give you an idea of how they evolved from the shanzin into the shamisen, right? So the scale and eventually still continuing its fretless scale. But when you talk about markers, a side note on the Japanese instrument, these skins used to be made out of cat skin, right? It's cat skin. And based on the number of shamisens I own, which has some original cat skin, this is not cat skin anymore, it's goat skin. Their markers are the nipples of the cat. I'm not kidding. I've noticed it that exactly the same scale falls on a nipple. Okay. So but again, those are traditional because some of my shamsens are vintage from the 60s. They've already banned using real cat, obviously. But yeah, there used to be a guy in the old days that they hire as the cat napper.
Yeah. You know, I've noticed that like the break angle is so different from a ukulele. Like, it's almost
There is no break angle. It's straight. Yes.
There's and you know, sometimes when we talk about shape of the neck, it's Morsi, it's Mordi. Well, you know, I don't know if you'll find it's obvious here, but this is more of a U.
Yes, this is actually classified as a kind of a student model design. But yes, the traditional Japanese instrument, which this is based on, it really does have a straight scale for a couple of reasons. One of which is because there were no frets. If you use a Japanese instrument like the shansin or the shamisen, there are no frets. So it is very high action if you think about it, because it needs to be so that you can do some bendings, and when you miss when you miss your fret scale or the little small marker stickers that they put on the original Japanese instrument, you can slide your mistake. That gives you that Japanese frill, right? That's the other thing that's an advantage with the Japanese scale, is that you can bar it. Yeah.
Stray cats.
Don't talk about cats, man. No. Seriously, it's a good thing that they banned, but it's because they needed the very thin skin. Because a goat skin or a lamb skin, you really have to prepare it. Whereas if you catch a cat, and maybe back then the cats are lucky in all aspects. But one thing you notice is that it has a lot of holes.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a sound hole here facing your audience. Then there's another one for the player, right here.
Surprisingly, like a banjo, the Japanese instruments don't have holes. That's why most of the time they have to be really hit to make a sound, or their strings are actually not like straight nylon. I mean, nowadays it's already nylon. But in this case, the reason why they also have holes is that they were designed for really young players or people who are a hobbyist. They do have the wood version, which is expensive. The holes there is where you put designs. Like you can put flowers, you can put a stuffed toy in there. You supposedly can put anything. It will affect the sound though, but then again, this is supposed to be a fun player.
Okay. Now I got a question here. Okay, so we're here in Manila.
Yeah.
And you obviously do not buy this off the shelf in a local music store here in the Philippines.
Neither would you find it in the US or anywhere else.
So,
as mentioned, this is from Japan, and I was only fortunate enough that there was an online seller who would ship it from Okinawa. Now, this is a very specialized instrument. Like I said, there's only one maker for this design, and you can only buy it off technically from their website, which they do have the English version. Of course, I have Japanese sources, I have contacts, and I managed to ship this in. So if you're asking where people can buy this, really, it's only really from Japan. So which is something that I can suggest when you're out in Japan music instrument hunting. You can find this, and one of your best resource, but they only come in this color, is an Amazon store that sold this one to me. I'm pretty sure that was the Amazon store of the actual store, no? Mashidaya, I think.
Okinawa, huh?
Okinawa, yeah. But in Okinawa, in the same way, that is also where you find the shansin. More or less, even in Japan, in those shops that I went to, you can barely find any
Maybe it's
traditional.
time to visit my wife's nephew. He's in Okinawa right now.
Yeah, Japan is a good place to go, and now's the time because that's the best place to tour nowadays. They want your tourism.
Yeah.
And again, it's ukulele heaven. And now it is a Sanlele supplies chain as well. So again, Joe, this is something that is definitely a keeper in my collection. Not only did you convince me that it actually sounds well,
Yeah, it plays well.
Well, again, for people who are interested, the normal tuning would be on the Japanese scale, which normally starts C, F, C, right? So that
Okay, no, show it to them this way, please. It's
yeah,
C.
well, top and bottom is C, while the middle is F.
Yeah,
Now,
but-
sometimes it depends on what song you're playing, you can change it to a G.
Yeah, okay, so I've noticed that, okay, it's both C, but the topmost string is a thicker gauge than the bottom one.
Yeah, so it's really, the scale is having a drone. Well, more or less like a drone to the higher C. So in Japanese music, that is more or less how you create that very holistic.
Yeah, but Japanese
mellow
music, I
music.
can use this for stray cat strut. No. And you're just barring folks, and it's so easy.
Again, the cats. No, yeah,
Guys,
seriously.
Get one. It's
Get one of
something
these.
fun.
It is just the same price as a Chansin, but this plays better because, again, the advantage of this, because based on the manufacturers, again, we're doing this review because no one else has.
Yeah. You know,
No one else has. Only the only sources you can find in YouTube are probably the guys who are selling you this, the Japanese from Okinawa.
okay, so it's a student model.
This is a nice student model. It's waterproof. So they do advertise it. It's good for the beach of Okinawa.
Okay, now if you'll notice, the samples Coco showed a while ago have no frets.
Yes, this is a fretless. Usually you
Yeah,
need
but they do have side dots.
yeah, side dots.
Yeah.
Those are
Okay,
for
now-
beginners.
This has no side dots. So, be grateful for the frets.
True. We're grateful for the frets, and also because you can fret this. Unlike the Shansin, which is pretty hard, you can do chords. I mean, this one, it's tuned to play right now for Joe to play Sakura. Yeah, but you can tune it like the website says. You can tune it either way to making the top and the bottom G in the middle like a C or a D A, right? And when you do those things, they actually have support. They actually have a different chord system. You can actually do chords to play Western songs. So this was meant to be flexible enough to actually make you play, just like playing a ukulele. I mean, just a little bit adjustment in your head. But, with all instruments, and later on we'll be introducing you to any string instrument, if you have proper fretting, you can basically tune it in any other way, right? They can tune this to A, E, and D, right? Just ukulele's bottom. However, because of the fretting, it's harder to do that. So you have to really learn also their different form of fretting.
Yeah, I'm suddenly thinking of my wife's nephew in Okinawa. Hey,
Yes.
nephew!
Well,
I'm
you
coming
can,
to visit you!
well, Okinawa is a far off place. You have to fly in. Well, that's what's one thing. Yeah, you can fly in somewhere else. There's another way to Okinawa, not from Tokyo because that's going to be expensive. So from our Philippines, yes, you can fly in a different region, then fly to Okinawa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just for a Sanlele, you can just order it from Amazon.
I'm going here to visit my wife's nephew.
Yeah, because this is only available
Yeah,
in
but-
Amazon in blue.
Yeah, not
if you
not
want
just
that.
for the Sanlele. I'm gonna visit my wife's nephew.
Yeah, next time if you do go, buy me the wood one. But yeah, it looks like that we are excited about this thing and basically sold on it because it is a nice instrument. And for $200, I mean, this one is pretty unique, and you'll really be rocking hard.
Yeah, I think anyone would want to have this in their collection.
And does not come with a bag.
No bag.
Not from Amazon. Okay, this did not come from a bag. They do sell you with the if you're not familiar with the other form of a ukulele bag where it's a drawstring. So it's a basically rectangle in a drawstring. That is the padded bag that they designed for this one.
You know, that reminds me of the bags of Wagas in Cebu, right? For your
Or other unique makers from Hawaii. They sometimes sell you with the those, because those are flexible.
anything fits in a rectangle, folks.
Yes. So for this one, I had to buy a keyboard bag. But I have one coming, drawstring. But I think I'll keep the keyboard bag because it's more padded.
Okay, folks. So
Sanlele
Yeah.
is a very unique instrument, and you are catching it here exclusively on.
Titos with Ukuleles.
All right,
And
so-
once again, we need your likes, we need your subs.
All right, and be sure to capture more of our unique ukuleles in our future episodes.